Oh, real quick, Paul, will you say something? I want to make sure you're not coming in on mine.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry. Everything is under control.
Good. I'm glad. Do you have just all the kindergarten cop ones? Is that what you're doing?
Maybe.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and I have everyone on their own track.
Hi.
Good. Hello, Paul.
Very nice to see you all again.
And you too. Okay.
That's to everyone in the chat not responding.
Gotcha. I just realized I have your name over Team Want, Paul, so I'm happy
Oh,
about that.
how convenient.
Good job
Sorry,
being the
thanks
first
for
to
letting me know. Catch that. There we go.
All right.
It's too high.
I'm just going to review my notes real quick, guys, and then I think we will start.
Do you have the script, Dustin? All right.
I do.
Do you have it memorized? I don't.
I have a dual monitor setup, so I got script over here, video over here.
Nice.
Notes side by side on the script. I'm ready to roll.
Oh, will you turn the heater off, please?
Needs
Thank
to be
you.
over this way more.
Okay. It is, but actually, no, fans are on my checklist. I forgot the heater.
Looks like
How
it's
was your
dinner
turkey,
time.
Dustin?
Dinner is done. Oh, deep fried turkey. So good.
Jake did our turkey this year. He did a really good job.
Nice.
How'd you do it, Jake?
It was tasty. Just traditional, pretty traditional, but just, I mean, you do the traditional well and it turns out good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Very
We did
cool.
not have a Christmas vacation experience with our turkey.
Well, that's good.
Oh, that's good.
I remember you sharing that story at Creekside, Jake. One year, your turkey just
my
turned out
dad.
so bad.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
not
no.
great.
Yeah.
It was so overdone.
You should have seen your dad's face when you cut into the turkey and it just started seeping juices. I feel like he had never seen a turkey that juicy before.
Right.
That sounds good.
It also sounds a little creepy how you worded it,
Juicy.
Juicy.
What else do you want me to say? Moist. Moist was the worst.
Oh my word. Okay.
We also made sourdough stuffing from a loaf of sourdough I made too. So that
Ooh.
was,
Yum.
turned out really nice.
I bet that was really good.
Fantastic.
That was good. Stephanie had high demands the week of Thanksgiving. So we did a sourdough loaf of bread, sourdough stuffing, and I made sourdough dinner rolls for the first time.
Wow.
Those turned out really nice.
Very nice.
Yum.
All right. I think I'm good to go. Thumbs up if you guys are good to go.
You didn't do the 5 seconds yet.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Edna mode.
This doesn't count. We haven't started the actual show yet. They only count after the show officially starts. Okay, so don't mute your mics, guys, or anything like that, because I'm going to be taking 5 seconds of your sort of floor noise to remove later. So just be quiet for 5 seconds, starting now.
Okay, Power Rangers, let's do it!
And now. All right, thank you. We don't need more chaos, Sway Knight. How dare you? Okay. Then in that case, I think let's go ahead and begin. Paul and Dustin, you're ready with the scripts?
I'm ready.
All right. Then, Paul, it looks like you start. I'm very excited to hear. Oh, no, I start. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, did you change the script?
No, I didn't. Okay. All right. Are you kidding? Stick my ear next to that stupid podcast? That's dumb.
That's because you know its rating's gonna stick.
You're full of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I double pod dare you.
Now it was serious. A double pod dare. What else was there but a triple dare you? And then the coup de grace of all dares, the sinister triple pod dare.
Well, I triple pod dare you.
Paul created a slight breach of etiquette by skipping the triple dare and going right for this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Retro systems online. Reflux capacitor fluxing. Scanning room space-time for A Christmas Story, 1983. Rewinding in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I am joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the Merry PaulJPowers.com, master of interrupter powers.
Good morning, Francisco.
Bring him here. Bring him here. And also for this,
fake teeth.
Yeah, right in the drawer. Also for this discussion of the film, A Christmas Story, we welcome back aboard clergy officer of the pod, Dustin Warford. Hey, Dustin.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going well. Glad you're here.
Does that make this? Wait, Francisco, how many episodes is this? This is 315?
Yes.
So is this Dustin's 215th time on the podcast?
No.
It seems like it this past month.
Oh my gosh. I think the record holder right now is my brother Kitos. It has the most episodes.
I'm coming for him.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
In addition, we are glad to have back aboard communication chief of the pod, Aaron Wallace. Hey, Aaron.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going well. Glad you're here. And joining Aaron is a content specialist for Nike, and we're glad to have back Jake Wallace. Hey, Jake.
Glad to be here, guys.
Glad to have you here. And now that we're all merry and bright, Paul, why don't you give us a quick overview of the production specs for A Christmas Story?
Sure thing. Benji's very own Christmas Story
What
was released December 7th.
The world.
Yeah, Benji's very own Christmas Story, December 1978. It's unrated. It's rated. It runs only 25 minutes because it's a TV special. It was directed by Joe Camp, written by Joe Camp and Dan Witt, and lead stars being Ron Moody, Patsy Garrett, and Cynthia Smith.
Paul?
Yes.
What you suppose is the possibility that maybe that's not the movie we're covering tonight?
Let's see, 15 years or older, check. We're busy this time of year, so it's a short special like we've done before, check. It's Christmas Story,
Given
check.
the last 100 or so episodes where this has been a thing, do you think that is the movie we're covering right out the gate?
Obviously.
Paul, we want just nothing, no Benji, no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, no nothing, just A Christmas Story. Just those three words from 1983. I don't know
what he said at the end.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
All right, A Christmas Story, Christmas.
No.
Those are just the words.
3 words, not 4. You did 4 words.
No, Christmas is twice, so therefore it's only 1 word.
Paul?
Yes?
A Christmas Story, 1983, please.
Oh, 1983.
Yes.
That could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Fine, I'll go back and review or rewatch it. Okay. A Christmas Story was released November 18th, 1983.
Thank you.
It runs an hour and 33 minutes. It's rated PG. It was directed by Bob Clark and written by Gene Shepard, Lee Brown, and Bob Clark, with lead stars being Peter Billingsley, Melinda Dillon, and Darren McGavin, with music composed by Paul Zera and Carl Zittrer. Sorry, too many Z-lettered last name people there together. Sure. Anyway, you ready for the box office trivia?
I am ready. Dustin, Jake, and Aaron, are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
And anyone in chat is welcome to play as well. I see Ashley, Kennethan, Who Will Save Generation X, Bobo. You guys are all welcome to play as well. Go for it, Paul.
All right. A Christmas Story was made for just over $3 million and earned over $20 million in the box office.
Well done, Christmas Story.
Given this fact, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among the movies released theatrically in 1983? And we'll go for the top 50.
Top 50. All right. Aaron, what is your guess?
You go to me first. I'll go 27.
27. All right. Jake, how about you?
I'm gonna go 17.
17. Dustin, you gonna go with another 7?
Nope. I think I'm gonna rate this one in the lower end because I think like this is the year that Star Wars. I think Return of the Jedi came out this year.
Oh,
and
I think
one of
you're
the
right.
Superman movies. There was some big movies in the 80s. I'm gonna give this one 45.
45.
I think it was down there.
All right.
If you're going top 50.
That feels brutal.
That's tough, dude.
Ken in chat guesses 9. Bobo guesses 12. B. Greer guesses 50. Wow, all the way at the bottom. Ashley guesses 43. Who Will Save Generation X guesses 69. Okay, this is not Bill and Ted. And yeah, Ashley says Return of the Jedi did come out in 1983. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go back to the 7s. I like that. I'm gonna go with 37. Paul,
All right.
Wow.
where did it actually end up?
Well, you were correct in sniffing out that it ends in a 7. In fact, according to the-numbers.com, it is 37.
What? Oh my!
Very nice. Very nice.
Christmas miracles do happen. So
Wow.
I wasn't that far off with 43.
I suppose.
No, I
not.
thought you were going to win it.
I started the 7 trend.
You did. You
Yep.
did. So we owe it all to you. Aaron.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Teamwork.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice has located our target film.
Alert. Alert. Target located. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
MGM presents A Christmas Story. Perfect. The movie that sends up Santa Claus. A Christmas Story, rated PG. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Yes, Friday at a theater near you, or maybe a streaming service near you these days. But it'll be that commercial definitely brings back some memories about A Christmas Story. But to give you some context for the things we collectively remembered about this film, let's go to our memory mind meld synopsis for A Christmas Story. Ralphie, a cute kid who would later grow up to work with Buddy the Elf in the North Pole, wants nothing more than a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas so that he can aim it at the bully and say, "Hasta la vista, Francis." But all the adults tell Ralphie he will shoot his eye out, and nobody supports his Christmas dream. Grumpy and leg lampless dad gets Ralphie the BB gun without his wife's consent, and a ricochet shoots his eye out and breaks his glasses. But he lies and says it was an icicle. Ralphie sleeps with his gun, showing all amazing gun safety, and remember his most favorite Christmas ever. I mean, some of those memories were true, but he never said "Hasta la vista, Francis." Francis is from like Pee-wee's Big Adventures. I don't know who remembered that. Totally, I think our memories totally were decepted. Bill B. So based on those memories, though, as flawed as they were, what rating did they lead you to predict before you rewatched this movie recently? Let's begin with Dustin this time. What was your prediction for A Christmas Story? And when was the first time you remember seeing this film?
I remember seeing this film. I probably was in the 2nd or 3rd grade, like long time ago. But I predicted classic. I mean, everyone. This is one of those movies that I think you've seen. If you've seen it, you saw it when you were younger. It's one that's fun to talk about. The leg lamp, just a lot of things come up about this movie that are fun to revisit. So and it's been a while since I watched it, but I did predict classic.
All right, classic for Dustin. Aaron, how about you? What was your prediction for A Christmas Story?
I actually predicted that it was going to be nostalgic.
Nostalgic, okay.
Yes. And I remember watching, I don't remember how old I was, but I was definitely a kid because I remember the TBS 24-hour stream of it.
Oh, sure.
When we had cable. And I think I just stumbled across the movie one day and kind of caught it in pieces.
Awesome. So nostalgic for you, Aaron. Jake, how about you?
Yeah, I was pretty dead set on nostalgic as well. Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up watching this. I think I saw it probably when I was in like 4th or 5th grade at my grandma's house because she had cable. We didn't have cable. So it was the same kind of thing. Like I stumbled on it and I was like, oh, okay. So
I guess I'll watch this. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Paul, how about yourself?
I saw this on TV. I first saw it on TV. I don't think it was the full marathon yet. I think it was one of those specials. Are not specials, but back in the day. And honestly, the first time I saw it, I thought it was slow and boring because it's not my time period, whatever. But then years later, the marathon did come on, and it wasn't until I was an adult actually that it would come on bits and more, and the more I watched it, the more I liked it. And now it's one of these movies like, we gotta watch. It's Christmas time. It's December. We gotta at least fit it in here at least once. So I predicted classic
because it's hooks in you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
For me, I remember seeing it fairly regularly around Christmases, but this was before the TBS marathon thing. So I think just whenever it would come on, like a special event. I don't remember us having this really on video, though maybe we did. But I remember liking it well enough. It's one of those movies where if it's on, I'll watch a little bit of it, but it's not like this is on, let me sit down and make sure I watch the whole thing. So given that, I predicted nostalgic for A Christmas Story. It'll be interesting to see if those predictions pan out, though. But first, let's get into the things we liked most about this film, what maybe gets it up to a classic. Alice, start that for us.
Best bits.
All right, let's begin with Jake this time. What's one thing you liked about A Christmas Story?
I have to say, the first thing that comes to mind when we were watching it the other night, it's just the dramatic scenes, with the parents. Oh my God, they're so over the top, and they make the movie for me.
Do you mean like the dream sequences?
Yes.
The dream sequences, like I'm trying to think of the specific, or the teacher does it too. Just those massively dramatic scenes that are way over the top that only a kid would dream of. I love those parts.
That is one of my likes as well. I enjoyed just it's such the way a kid would imagine as like the hero of his own story, and just how, I'm going to do everything right. Everyone's going to think I'm the best. It's just, those were fantastic.
When Ralphie turns in his report and he imagines the teacher and she starts writing a plus all down the wall. It's hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm totally there with you. Aaron, what was a dreamy part of this movie for you?
Honestly, I feel like as a kid, I related to Ralphie.
Oh, okay.
But as an adult, I relate to the parents now.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you can relate to several characters in the movie. And so that's what I liked, was how relatable it was. But then also how the movie kind of took on a new feeling as an adult, and now as somebody who has kids.
Yeah.
Because I can recognize the parents where I'm like, oh my gosh, I know exactly how this parent is feeling now. And it didn't make sense to me when I was a kid. I only saw it from Ralphie's perspective. So I like that.
Awesome. Very cool. Dustin, give us your perspective on something you liked about this film.
I'll come back to what Aaron said when we get to classic makers, because there's some of what you said that fell into my classic maker. But I also liked, similar to what Jake said, I think the family played a dysfunctional, over-the-top family so well in this movie. With the dad winning a contest, and
it's a major award.
A major award.
And everyone going, "What is it?" He goes, "He won an award." He's getting everyone excited for him, and they don't even like the thing. But it's like, but it's a big deal. It's an award.
It's a bowling alley.
To the mom freaking out and smothering her kids over every little thing that's going on in the house.
Yeah.
The dad putting the topper on the tree. No, it's not straight. And just the kids overreacting. Everyone overreacts to everything, and I think they played it so well that it was hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
So I think the cast did a great job of just playing I don't know if you want to call it dysfunctional family, but just a over the top 80s family. They did it very, very well.
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to be a 40s family. It takes place in the 40s, but
that's what I said. The 40s.
Come on,
yeah, of course.
Come on.
That's what I heard. I don't know if I'd consider them dysfunctional, just like different, I guess. I don't know. Maybe
it was one of the early. This was one of the earlier references of the term dysfunctional family.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not everybody agrees, but it was
just
one
seems
of the
real, I guess.
Right.
Maybe because I came from a dysfunctional family. This is totally accurate. What are you talking about?
Before then, all the TV, like, it's not the Brady Bunch. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even that could be dysfunctional with the
sure, or Leave It to Beaver or those types of
sure. Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Being number 7 of 15 kids, I have no idea what dysfunction looks like. It's perfect. So
None
at all.
Paul, why don't you give us your functional like for this film? Wow.
I, as a kid, I did not appreciate the old timiness, but now looking back as
of the
adult,
80s, right? The old timiness of the 80s.
No, of the 40s.
Of course.
The film depicts
what I said.
Yeah, so I like the nostalgia feel of it.
Yeah,
like even though I didn't grow up in the 40s, it's almost like a time capsule of that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
All the props and everything were used from that era, so that's what I like.
What's weird is, and someone mentioned that this, even though it was in our feedback that it was made in the 40s, though it felt sort of 80s, and I'm like, I think you misspoke, because this was like, I thought the saying was the 60s, and then I go and look at the trivia, and I'm like, or the IMDb, I'm like, in the 1940s, I'm like, wait. Yeah, I guess this is the 40s, because they're listening to the radio. 60s, you'd have TVs and stuff. So I just, for some reason, to me, this felt more 60s, but I guess that's just because I'm so far removed from that era.
It does. I like what you said, though, that it feels like this time capsule, because I don't know what it is about like the 40s, but for whatever reason, that feels like the pinnacle of classic Christmas, and maybe that's
Bing Crosby,
or like when I think of White Christmas, like there are so many famous Christmas movies that came out then.
Yeah,
and for whatever reason, this movie does feel like this perfect little time capsule that captures the Christmas nostalgia. And even though it's set in the 40s, you can relate to it.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel like a time capsule.
Very cool. Yes, totally agree. Let's go back to Jake. What's something else you liked about this time capsule of a movie?
I love the dad scenes, especially when he's down wrestling, because I think it kind of speaks to, like what Aaron was talking about with being able to relate to the parents now. The dad downstairs wrestling with the heater, the furnace, and just all that. It just makes me think of outside wrestling with my truck and just like work, and it's like, yes. Oh man, the dog's coming in at the end after, he's gonna get his turkey.
That's so crushing.
And, you sons of, oh my gosh. Yeah, the dad.
Awesome. Let's see. Dustin, did you relate to the dad at all? Or was your dad like this dad at all?
My dad is a handyman and a fix-it guy, so it did bring back memories of things breaking in the house and my dad going down and tackling it. But he was a very good handyman, so he never had to worry about anything breaking after he touched it, just because he could fix it. What another thing that I really liked about the movie, though, is dysfunctional as everything was throughout the whole movie. I liked how
it functioned very well. But
I-
go ahead.
I like how at the end, it still had that Christmas magic with the dad with his arm around the mom. You know, here's the toy. Here's the toy for my son, and
Paul's
even the
having
mom's
none of
still
this,
hesitant.
apparently.
Like, wait a second. He's like, no, I had one too. Go do it. So I liked how in the midst of the dislikes that we'll get to soon, you know, all the madness that happened in the movie, it still had that magic Christmas ending that you know makes a Christmas movie, and I thought it buttoned it up pretty well.
That ending was, and you know what, my wife would agree with you, Dustin, but that ending, I think it should have, they rolled the credits right after the duck gets his head chopped off, like, and right there. Instead it goes into this I'm sorry,
slow and boring,
where they're just slowly moving, sitting by the fire, they're sitting by the fireside and the tree, they're looking out, the snow's coming down. It's just, why am I even going on? It's just boring. Move to the next.
You know what's weird about that, Paul? I'm sure this is just a deceptive memory, but I, for some reason, remember the movie ending after the Chinese dinner. Like, that's where the credits rolled. So
maybe it might be a TV cut.
Maybe,
I don't know.
maybe, but okay. But Paul, why don't you give us something? So you like seeing the duck's head chopped off. What else did you like about this movie?
The pacing. This is an 1.5-hour movie. I don't have to sit through 3 hours of these modern movies. It's an 1.5 hours, and it moves well.
With their Hans Zimmer atmosphere scores.
Right. I mean, I'm not knocking Lord of the Rings, but there's a lot of people trying to do the same, and it's not working. This is a nice story filled with mini stories that moves it along at a good pace, and I like the pacing. So my second like is the pacing of it.
Very good, very good.
A nice movie made up of many stories and
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
He hasn't bashed what?
I do want to hear though. I do want to hear though, Aaron, what's one more thing you liked about this film?
I really like Peter Billingsley as Ralphie.
Yeah.
I thought that he captured the like the drama of being a kid very well, but also he felt so genuine in his portrayal. He actually seemed like he had a decent range. Like, you know how sometimes these kids in these movies, they can only do one thing.
Yes.
Peter Billingsley did all of these scenes, some of them fairly emotional, pretty well. He was able to be whiny. He was able to be compliant, or like in the scene where he just like breaks down and starts beating up the bully, and he's crying and he's so angry. I mean, you believe Peter Billingsley as Ralphie with all of these emotions that he portrays. Yeah. And it never felt like he was lacking in any of the scenes at all. And I remember thinking while I was watching this, what a huge weight for this kid to have on his shoulders. I mean, I don't, how old was he when they made this movie? Like 11 or 12 or something like that? 10?
I will try to look it up, but continue.
Yeah, in the movie, he said in the movie, I think Ralphie is 9. But for a young actor to have that kind of range, and he was just so relatable. So I just felt like Peter Billingsley I really liked him.
He would, knowing how Hollywood casts actors, he probably was 17. In all reality,
he was. Well, probably when this was being made, let's say it's 82, his would have been 11. So really close, but not quite 9.
I like that scene as well. The scene where he does the bully beatdown. I think that, like you said, Aaron, that showed an acting range that you didn't see in the rest of the movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when he unleashes on the bully, I think that's a relatable scene to any kid that's ever been picked on. You hit your breaking point and you just snap. So there's and that's happened to me before, and so I was just like, kill him, not really kill me, get him. But I loved the way he acted in that scene, and I also really liked how his mom didn't condemn him.
Yeah.
She was just like, calm down, go sit on your bed, just calm down. It was such a soothing. I love to see in the midst of everything going on, the motherly aspect really come out.
And I also
it was cool.
And this didn't make my this is a great moment for sure. It didn't make my like list, but I do just want to add on. I also, for some reason, I was worried, like while I'm watching that sequence take place, she takes Ralphie away, and for some reason I remember her lying to her husband about like, oh, nothing happened. But no, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that no, she said she just got into it.
She lied about the glasses.
Oh, that's what it was.
They were sitting on the radio, but they weren't.
But the more extreme thing was the
Oh, so little white lies are okay.
Oh my gosh.
As long as it's not the big, the surrounding lies are okay. As long as it's not about the main thing. Okay.
So the mom Rahab protected
Mama Rahab. Okay.
No, but I like how she didn't lie about that Ralphie got in a fight, but downplayed it in a way to like save him from getting beat by his dad. Though he didn't strike me as the type of dad that would be super upset with his son taking on a bully, but I don't know. I mean, we don't really get into that much. Regardless,
he'd wrestle the radiator.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he didn't do anything when the kid was cussing in front of him. Of course, he did the same thing, so maybe that's why.
I do want to say though, my last like before we get to our classic makers is, I'd say it was the magic, I'll say, or the movie magic of the tongue stuck to the frozen pipe. And I'm like,
the practical effect.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I mean, that sure looks stuck, and I can't believe that they would put a kid's tongue, possibly getting frostbite. I mean, and so I was thinking, I don't know how they're achieving this. I guess glue or so anyway. Come to find out, as I'm reading through trivia, they used a suction device that you couldn't see on screen that simulated it being frozen there. I'm like, oh, that's genius. But I really like that. I didn't know how it was done, and now it's like that magic.
It looked real.
Yeah,
it looked real. And it made me cringe. I was like,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I felt bad that the cop just like
some warm water and like poured on it.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
And
I'm like, what are you
it's
doing?
so funny because now with these high definition TVs, you see some things in old movies that you never did.
Yeah.
And when his tongue is all wrapped up and he's going back to his seat, he's got drool like pouring out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
But when you cut back to him in the close-up, there's no drool. But
You're right.
Movie magic.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
But now let's get into the most magical parts of this film, our classic makers. Let's start with Aaron. What did you love most about A Christmas Story?
I love the narration.
Okay.
You get Ralphie's internal monologue, his internal thoughts and everything. They capture how kind of dramatic childhood thoughts are about situations, but the descriptions, the words that they use, it's really well written, but then also delivered so well. And it's just my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, Gene Shepard is a master storyteller.
Did he do narrations for other movies, or I wasn't really. I think this is the only movie I've heard him in, but
he did. Okay, I was going to save this for later, but if anyone really loves this movie and they're looking for a true sequel to the movie, not A Christmas Story 2, not A Christmas Story Christmas.
Isn't there one with this one character actor that's in a bunch of 80s movies as the dad? Like, it's not. Continue, Paul. I should let you finish.
I was about to say, where are you going with this? I thought I was the master interrupter here. What's going on? But if anyone likes the movie and they want to see, it's the true story. The true sequel is A Summer Story, where it's directed by Bob Clark, the same director, and it's narrated by Gene Shepard. It's taken from Gene Shepard's books, another collection of stories. It has that same feel as this movie does. So That's another one. I think it's also been retitled. I think like All in the Family or something.
Oh yeah,
But,
A Summer Story, 1988. Frank Ashton and his best friend are hiking across Dartmoor when he twists his ankle. Frank goes for help at a nearby farmhouse where he stays for a few days and falls in love with Megan. Oh, how do you like it? How do you like it, PalseyPirates.com?
Hey, it's not my fault you can't keep your story straight.
That sounds like a Hallmark movie right there.
Maybe
Found a girl, fell in love, forgot about his friend who needed help, but they still saved the day.
I did A Summer Story.
1994, by the way,
1994,
for anyone who's
okay.
seriously interested.
Okay. Anyway, Aaron, great classic maker. It's also my classic maker. I love the narration as well. I feel like it just brought such richness to the film, and yeah, just his intonation, the way I too could just listen to him just narrate. And so often movies that have narration, I'm like, oh, just show me, don't tell me. But in this, I thought it was perfect. It was a breath of fresh air as narrations go. Let's go to Dustin next. What was your classic maker, Dustin?
I'm going to revisit something that Erin brought up with one of her likes.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about, just being able to relate to people in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my classic maker is the fact that I think this movie captures perfectly like a middle class family just trying to get through the holidays so well.
Yeah.
And no matter what stage of life you're in, whether you're a kid watching the movie, you can totally relate to Ralphie wanting the gun and in his mind trying to scheme, how do I play this conversation out? What do I say to help my parents get me the gun? That didn't work. Now I got to do this. That didn't work. So all that with the kid, the mom freaking out over kids shooting their eyes out with toys, the dad wanting to fix everything and getting frustrated when things don't go right. So you can watch this from any perspective wherever you are in life and feel like I was there. Now I'm there. Now I'm there. So I think it hit that so perfectly that
awesome
makes it rewatchable. You can see it from different points of view.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some movies have, I feel like Frailty, which we covered recently. Once you know the twist, you can rewatch it and appreciate it for different sort of layers. But this is different in that you enjoy it from different perspectives as you age. So yeah,
who was one of the guests you had on Frailty?
I don't know. He's a big deal, but I'm trying to remember.
Yes,
who.
I was on that one. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Let's go to Jake next. What was your classic maker, Jake?
So to me, the heart point of the story for me that really just makes the movie happen is when Ralphie gets the gun. That moment. So to me, like I have a hard time relate from a heart level connecting to this movie. It's not like the heartwarming Christmas story that we're all used to or whatever. But when Ralphie gets the BB gun, his dad comes through, knows what his son wants, gets it for him. And I kind of started tearing up a little bit last night when we were watching it. It was just like, I love seeing a father come through for his son or a parent come through for their child, Yeah. And so for me, that was great. Side note, also, I already mentioned the dramatic dream sequences and stuff, but I think to go along with that, the movie score or the music score to accompany those scenes was fantastic.
Whenever they would encounter the bully, was that Peter and the Wolf that they would?
Yes.
That was the music? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could tell by the little Sasha bird part that went. Oh wait, that's a different bird.
We almost got through a movie without that, but no. All right,
Jake, I'm totally getting Jer and Hope BB guns just so you can manage that chaos.
Dude, do it. Well, not Hope.
No,
not Hope.
No.
Not, please.
I had to make sure I said Hope.
Talk about shooting an eye out.
Aaron actually did almost shoot my eye out with a Nerf gun. So
that is very true.
I will never forget that.
Hey, your wife shot your daughter in the head with a BB or with a Nerf gun.
A BB gun.
Oh my word. Paul, why don't you be a straight shooter for us and give us your class maker?
All right.
Is that
the
your
thing that
bullet
I like
sound?
most about
Was that your bullet?
I don't
sound?
have that clip that sound on my soundboard, so
A bullet sounds like this.
You know what? Drop it in there and edit it in if you want.
Oh, I'll drop an amazing bullet sound right now.
Edna mode.
This doesn't count.
Most about this film is what Jacob initially started with, is the daydream sequence. They are just so much fun. And yeah, everything that's already been said, I totally agree. In fact, I would love to see the extra dream sequences that they shot, that they cut out.
I didn't know there were more.
They had an elaborate Flash Gordon dream sequence, daydream sequence. They had a sequence where the teacher came to their house to help convince his parents to get him a Red Ryder.
Oh wow,
gun.
crazy.
So those were all fun for me, and I enjoy those the best.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, there's lots of things we liked about this movie, but you know what? There's probably some things that we didn't like so much. So darn it. Sorry, guys. I was hoping to give you a Christmas miracle where I didn't forget something else I liked that I wanted to share, but I have to tell you guys about this. And that would be
there's always next year.
Junkyard Juggernauts. The king and queen have disappeared. A warlord is enslaving the land, and their only hope is you and the junkyard. Junkyard Juggernauts is a pixel art infused board game for 1 to 4 players designed by Francisco Ruiz. Hey, that's me. You will play as a Mageneer, drafting cards to build the arms and legs of a magic-fueled mech, aka a Juggernaut, before taking on the Warlord. With an expected crowdfunding campaign in the spring of 2025, there's plenty of work to be done on Junkyard Juggernauts, and you can stay in the know by subscribing to FireJoyStudios.com.
Not JunkyardJuggernauts.com?
You can go there too, but I'm merging that mailing list into FireJoy Studios.
Oh. Speaking of merging, how does this merge into a Christmas story? I thought we were reviewing a Christmas story.
Let's see. You could think of some of the Juggernaut's arms as guns, like a Red Ryder BB gun thing. Does that work?
I don't know. Was it in the movie?
It doesn't merge,
no.
okay, Paul? It wasn't a like about this movie. It is shameless self-promotion, okay?
Yeah, that works for me then.
Have you ever had anybody do like at least 12 playthroughs of that game and never lose yet? Has that happened yet? Just asking for a friend.
You know, if somebody did, I imagine they would be a big deal.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Okay, how about some trivia, guys, about A Christmas Story? Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Did you all realize, due to the film's popularity, the Daisy Rifle Company has started producing Red Ryder BB guns for sale during the Christmas season? It has become one of Daisy's best-selling rifles, in fact.
Well, yeah.
So with
I'm getting one.
With that in mind, what toy or product from a movie, any movie, do you wish was made now for you to buy for Christmas? Let's begin with Paul.
My mind automatically goes to the hoverboard from Back to the Future 2. Not these little platforms with 2 big wheels on the side, and people call them hoverboards even though they're not hovering. The wheels are on the ground, and why society thinks it's okay to call it a hoverboard. It's just anyway, sorry. There was a trigger there, but yeah.
No worries.
Hoverboards. A real hoverboard.
A real hoverboard, but
I wouldn't even mind a Barbie one from Back to the Future 2 at this point.
All right. Sure. Well, I mean, I think it'd have to be a Barbie one because that's signature. Okay. Aaron, how about you?
I am going to go with the outfit choosing software that Cher has in Clueless.
Wow.
Nice.
Because it has her whole catalog of clothing, and all she has to do is click buttons to pick out her outfit.
Nice.
Instead of having to try things on. And that just sounds so amazing to me.
Yeah, try things on?
Oh, as if.
Oh my God.
I love that movie so much.
Let's go with Dustin next. How about you?
This doesn't necessarily qualify as a toy,
okay,
but I would love the Rocketeers rocket pack.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Minus.
You jerk!
Do you have the same one?
Yes!
We'll steal his helmet.
Minus the hole covered by a
Keep
thing
going,
of gum.
keep going.
But if I could have the Rocketeers rocket pack, that would be the coolest thing.
Okay.
You know what?
Jake,
That would go
Jake, what would
further
you
and
choose?
faster than my
I
hoverboard.
thought I was taking a deep cut. I was like, come on, man.
We must have worked together for many years or something.
Oh
What are the
my word.
odds?
I know, seriously. I was like, I'm going to say the one that everybody's going to say. So far, nobody's said it yet. So I'm
Okay.
okay with that.
Okay. Go ahead, Jake. What's yours?
Talk Boy, Home Alone 2.
Hey,
Even though we have
Oh.
these things that kind of record our voices,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
something nostalgic about having the Talk Boy.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
the tape in it.
That's good. I like
we
that.
had one of those back in the day after that movie came
Oh,
out. That was
really?
fun to
Nice.
play
Oh,
with.
fun. Nice. Very, very good, guys.
So what about you, Francisco? It's Christmas. What would you
I mean,
like?
Spaceballs the flamethrower, Avi.
Kids love that one.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, great trivia, Francisco.
Thank you, Paul.
And now that we've all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our rad rewinders, had about A Christmas Story.
Very well. Deborah Powers says, "You'll shoot your eye out." Did she ever say that to you, Paul?
You'll shoot your eye out!
I don't think so,
Oh, okay.
but I never had a BB gun.
Oh, well.
I was about to say all my guns were like either like remember those dart ones with the
Yes,
suction
yes,
ends,
uh-huh.
those
Yeah.
plastic ones.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what I had, or you know that didn't shoot at all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
They make you feel
no
like
one's-
your eye falls out when you get hit with them.
yeah, not quite. Drew Dodgen says a Red Ryder BB gun with compass and a stock and a thing that which tells time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesse Cleva Vidal says, "I just fixed the flux capacitor in my 1982 DeLorean, and I'm here to spoil the podcast. But yes, it's absolutely a classic." All right, Cleva.
Great Scott. Becky Smith says we grew up in the same area with this story where the story takes place.
Oh, cool.
So it was an instant classic for my family, and we try to watch it every year.
Nice. John Thomas says, "Rad. ACS, A Christmas Story, is my favorite Christmas movie for many reasons. The film resonated deeply with me as someone who grew up in the Midwest, and Christmas time is full of childhood desperation, parental exasperation, and the ever-present threat of shooting your eye out. The film perfectly portrays the way we took Christmas seriously as kids, from Ralphie's obsession with the Red Ryder BB guns, the crazy plans we'd make to get what we wanted. I used to circle every toy I wanted in the Sears wish book and place pages strategically where my dad would see them. I never got exactly what I wanted. For me, this movie has always been a reminder that while Christmas is never as perfect as advertised, it was those imperfect moments that often become the memories we cherish most."
Interesting. Yeah. Kristen Rish Victor says, "Oh, she left a gif of Randy not being able to move
Put his arms down. Yeah.
down, and the Fraggle Rock. Oh, the
Oh my
Fragee-lay
gosh.
box
Fragee-lay.
It's Italian.
down
Josh,
at Fragee-lay Rock."
oh my gosh. Josh Berkey says, he linked to Fall Out Boy singing Yule, as in Yule log, "Shoot Your Eye Out." All right. Thanks, Josh.
Jeremy Shields says, "The funny thing is, I recall watching it in pieces until I was an adult, where I finally saw the whole movie in order. I've gone to bed with it on Christmas Eve on TBS and woke up to the same scene in the middle of the night. I once listened to the audiobook. It's actually a collection of different stories. Perhaps the correct word is anthology, and they combined them all for the movie."
Nice. Who Will Save Generation X podcast says, "Grover Dill grew up to be the lead singer of AC/DC." Now, I was looking this up.
Of course he did it.
Wait, so he
It's a
was
joke.
joking? Oh my gosh.
Yes. When did this movie come out?
I don't.
1983.
Yeah.
So AC/DC and their big hits came out what year? Like 1980.
Oh, okay.
So you tell me this little kid was 5 years old.
Maybe
I'm
if
so
it really
confused.
was filmed in the 40s, like, you know, I said
Right.
all along,
Yeah,
40s.
exactly. Yeah.
So he looks and has the attitude.
Okay,
But
that's
no, he
what.
did not.
Okay, I didn't realize that's what Zabe was trying to say. I'm sorry, I missed the boat there.
Yeah. Okay, sorry that I had to explain the joke, folks. Anyway, moving on. Ashley Thomas says, I didn't watch this film until 2002. Sorry, too many T's in there. When my high school economics teacher played it during the class in the last day before school break. I would go through phases where I liked it and then didn't like it, but now I love it. I watch it multiple times every year.
Wow. Kevin Joshua Burnham says, it's just okay. It has some funny bits, but overall, it's just okay. I imagine he watches it multiple times a year, too.
Sure. Well, David Bobke says, I don't remember.
What don't I remember?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not Bobo. What don't I remember about this movie? Everyone in the cast is great. He means what don't I? I remember everything so much that
As in,
So
what
that's what
don't I remember about this movie? Everyone in the cast is great. The writing
So
is...
yeah, you have to have that Chandler Bing attitude.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So he goes on and says the cast is great. The writing is familiar with comfortable, although maybe it's the Midwestern vibe I'm picking up. Thankfully, I've never had to deal with dogs barging in on our lunch.
Nice.
But he goes on to say, but I'm curious, what do you wish you could beat out of this movie like Ralphie beat the tar out of Scut Farkus?
Nice. I think we will get into that right now. Let's talk about the things we didn't like about A Christmas Story. I'll start that up for us.
Worst woos.
And let's begin with Paul this time. What's something you didn't like about A Christmas Story?
Okay. I'll start off with this scene. This scene's... Okay, when Ralphie goes after Scut Farkus...
Hold on.
Okay,
here's your edit mode. I looked on Locals this morning, Ken. When did you post the comment?
Probably like 5 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
He probably thought we were reading these live, and we're not. I mean, we are, but not the comments.
Yeah, we don't go to the sources. We pull them all like the days and morning before into our document. So let me go get this. So I don't have to cut it in.
He said several hours ago. Well, you should have wrote it several days ago.
It says 55 minutes ago, Ken. How dare you? Okay. Ken also says, I don't care if you haven't seen this movie ever or recently. It is so iconic, and even those who have not seen the movie know the movie. Indeed.
Can I write a comment on Facebook right now and have you splice this one in too?
No.
No, not you.
You're giving me your comments live as we go, Dustin.
I want to do both.
Oh my gosh.
So basically, Kennethan wrote that comment just right before we started this podcast.
I guess so, yes.
So this podcast seems several hours long. Is what he's saying. Sorry, folks. If you made it this far, I hope you're awake.
Oh my gosh. Or maybe if you're listening to this on repeat, you've just woken up to the same part like Jeremy Shields did. Anyway, let's talk about the things you didn't like about this film. And then I played the thing. All right. Let's start with Paul. What's something you didn't like about A Christmas Story?
Okay, I'll start off with this scene where Ralphie goes after Scut Farkus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Scut Farkus is the super senior of the group. He's bigger. I don't know how Ralphie is able to pin him down and just wail on him for 2 minutes without him getting up. But let's say, okay, he does. Okay.
All right.
But then after Ralphie is pulled off, all he has is a bloody nose after 2 minutes of being whomped on. I mean...
Well, I think you're right, Paul, that Ralphie doesn't have like tons of muscle mass going, and he has gloves on.
Yeah, he
so
has his gloves on, right?
he's just
pretty
like
covered as he's swinging.
Yeah.
Okay, they should have
looks
had
more
little...
like he's hitting his chest.
Yeah.
Rock 'em, sock 'em.
Exactly.
Yeah, the whole thing, it just kind of throws me. I get what they're going for, but it pulls me out.
Have you never seen a little person get so ticked off that there is no stopping them from lashing out at the bigger person?
No, I totally get that.
But I mean, the big person if they have any presence of mind, is going to be able to get him off or block or stop him in some way. I mean, he's not even punching back at all. He's just laying there taking it. I think he's just so stunned that he was attacked instead of the vice versa. That's what's got him so perplexed or confuzzled.
But it's a while. I mean, it's long enough for his kid brother to go get his mother down the street.
I get that. I don't know what to say. So you just like if it was a minute shorter, you think it'd be more believable, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
I guess.
Make the short movie that you love for being short even shorter.
Exactly. Dustin, what do you wish was shorter about this movie for you?
All right, there was a scene in this movie that made me cringe because I don't know of anybody that does this, and I was just like, every time I watch it, I'm like, what? No one does that. It's when all the kids put their mouthpieces in the teacher's hand.
Oh yeah, from their mouth.
I mean, it's like no teacher says spit that out into my hand. I can see one person spit it, like parents do it, like spit it out, give it to me. But a teacher in school for every single kid in that moment, no.
I was about to say not every kid. I've actually had that happen to me. Not it
you
was
put out your hand and said spit it.
No, and it was just a weird set of circumstances where it was like there was nowhere else to put it anyway. And I wound up, and she said, "Okay, just put it in my hand, and we'll take care of it." But
like, I can see an adult doing that, like incognito with one kid, like here, just give it to me, we'll get rid of that. Trying to save the kid, save some face or something. But for the teacher to be like, all right, and just line up and help the kids.
Imagine the drool just going down.
And then there was no drool though. She put it in the drawer, and they were all dry. I was like, all right, that's
movie magic.
I can hear the kids with teeth even now going
Oh.
all that, and there was just that scene makes me cringe. No one does that.
I feel like our understanding of germs though was a little bit different in the 40s. Like
if you had your sugar, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And smoke your cigarette at night, you're good to go.
I think COVID started back in the 40s with that scene, and it just evolved finally to the outbreak that we had a couple years ago.
Who Will Save Generation X says germs weren't invented in the 40s. So yeah, I think that's you don't have to worry about that back then.
So that scene makes me cringe every time.
Very fair, very fair.
I'm not even a germaphobe, but that scene gets me.
All right, Jake.
That's how it starts.
What makes you cringe about this?
Oh man, just to follow up that. So I go to the mom encouraging the little brother to eat like a pig at the dinner table, and I'm just like, stop! Like who does that with their child? I'm like, I would never have my kids do that because food's gonna go everywhere.
I am sorry.
Won't eat. You're desperate.
I am so incensed by that scene. I'm just going to break with tradition and break with the etiquette of the double dog dare and stuff. That's my tragic maker. I hate that scene so much. I'm like, get the food off your face. Why are you having to do that?
It's not my tragic maker, but it's a dislike for sure.
Oh, I find the scene delightful with them laughing back and forth.
That's fine.
Over and over again.
All I can think with him making the pig noises and the mashed potatoes is how are you not getting the
breathing
mashed potatoes
that in,
like up,
sucking up
in your sinuses?
Yeah.
Hey, it would just go up and through and back in. It'd be good. A little extra flavor.
What dad would just sit there and watch it happen?
Yeah.
And not
probably. Hey, we have dealt with picky eaters. A parent that has had to fight with their kid, and their kid is finally eating.
Yes, exactly.
We've never gotten that desperate. I would never get that.
No, we would never get that desperate. But still, like, there comes a point where you're like, "Hey, they're eating. I don't care."
Yeah. No, I get that, but encouraging them to make a mess is, I think, a little different.
No.
So.
Yeah, I'm with Jake. That's bad.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just scratch off my tragic maker there. And Jake, that was something you didn't like. Aaron, what's something that you found disgusting about this film?
I mean, it relates to that scene because I think the little brother is super annoying.
Yes. Randy.
Aw, Jay. And then when he's sitting there and he's just like,
yeah. Agreed.
And I know that
she does that really well.
It's on purpose that he's annoying, but just the when she's putting all the clothing on him and he like can't put his arm. I can't put my arms down. And then, you know, she's like, well, you'll just, you know, deal with it later or whatever. And she starts rapping the thing, and he just goes, like, what child makes that kind of noise?
Yeah.
We should have just done that in staff meetings that went really long.
Oh my word. Yeah, I have expected, and I had forgotten about I knew that scene happened, but I forgot the intricacies of it. I really was expecting him to say when she undid it after doing it that he had to go to the bathroom and they had to strip it all down. But it wasn't that.
I can't put my arms down.
Yeah.
Put them down when you get to school.
Exactly.
And then he falls down in the snow.
Yeah.
They can't get up.
So Randy is very annoying for you, Aaron. I totally
Can't
get
stand
that.
him.
Let's see. Then let's go back to Paul. What's something else you didn't like about A Christmas Story?
Oh, the scene during recess, and the bell rings, and the bullies are there, and they say, "Come here."
Yeah.
They run away, but Flick stays behind. And
like, why?
It's the movie actually answers why. It's because afterwards Scott says to Ralphie, "Hey, basically, you better come when I say come," and that kind of thing. Like, you'll get worse later. So it's this manipulation of the bullies, and it's just frustrating to watch Flick not stand up for himself. And then he comes back with the black eye, and it's like, okay, that's different from just roughhousing or playing around. You could get like kicked out of school or suspended at least. Get the bully in trouble. But
I don't think
there's
they're
that
in
dichotomy
school, but,
of
okay.
I was about to say, but it also shows that dichotomy of an abusive what do you call that relationship where they have kind of like mental control over people.
Stockholm syndrome?
I don't know. I never went there.
Oh, that's when somebody falls in love with their captor.
Yeah.
I thought that was
That's Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's just frustrating that he doesn't run with everybody else when it's clearly an option.
Yeah, I totally get that. Paul. Let's go to Jake. What's something you wish wasn't told in this story of Christmas?
Something that wasn't. Say that again.
He just wants you to go to your next dislike.
Yeah.
I know. I was thinking of my next dislike, and
I said
directly had to do with Paul.
What's something that you wish wasn't told in this story of Christmas? Because it's a Christmas story. Get it? It's hilarious. Wow.
I don't know.
What's another dislike?
Well, I would say so, Paul. To add on to what you were saying, when Flick got his tongue stuck on the pole, they just abandoned him out there and left him. I was just like, what friends? Like, what kind of friends is he? Ralphie?
Unfortunately, those are the best friends he has. It's the kind that will abandon him.
I was very like, I was like, dude, you gotta get better friends, man.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that for sure.
You're full of beans, and so's your old man.
Full of beans.
And then Ralphie lies about who told him who said the F word to him, and then I don't know if I think it's Schwartz gets beat up.
Schwartz.
Yeah.
Luckily, he says Schwartz because otherwise Flick would just be the underdog the whole time.
Exactly. Oh goodness. Okay, so that's some you didn't like, Jake. Let's go to. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. I'm gonna go something else I didn't like, and I doubt it's something that any of you have.
Oh, good. I don't want it.
I really dislike the I'll say the ugliness, and I don't mean that from a like appearance, but just attitude of Santa's elves. Like, get up here, kid. Come on. And I think part of it is the costuming, because I hate those elf costumes with a passion. The little hook on the top.
They have the felt?
Not so much the felt, just the design of this like horn that comes down in your face, and then the same with the boots, and the colors are all just too not overly garish, but I don't know, they're ugly. They're just ugly elf costumes with ugly attitudes, and I don't like them. So the elves that help Santa, and then they have this weird way of picking up the kids. They turn them around and then they turn them back the way they were. It's like, no wonder you're so far behind. This is very inefficient. So
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So
they were throwing them down the slides as fast as they could.
Well, that's fine, but the getting them up on the lap doesn't make the way they're doing it doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's go to Aaron next. What's something else you didn't like about this film? What?
You'll see. If you ever rewatch, you'll see. But don't worry.
Oh, okay.
It's just for the people watching the video.
Well, I'm going to start releasing the videos online.
Oh, so when you edit this, then if you do.
Anyway,
you'll see. It's okay. You'll see.
Aaron, go ahead.
It was a little bit hard for me to watch like the scene when the family's sitting down to dinner and Ralphie makes the comment that it had been years since his mother had eaten a warm meal.
Yeah, I felt so
and
bad.
she had to keep getting up. Yeah. And I know like that was the culture back then. Like that was the expectation of the mom. And you know, I think as a parent, there are times where you feel like you just come last.
Yeah. Yep.
But it was so sad to know that it was always her. And you can see on her face, she's like, I just want to eat, but I'm going to put on my happy face and I'm going to serve my family. You know, I just, that was a little hard to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm like, come on, just you and your husband, say, hey, kids, you got served. Now you can wait. Let the food settle. I know this is like, I'm projecting my 2010, 2020 parenting onto the 40s, but it's just like, it was frustrating for exactly what you're saying there.
But I was going to add a counter argument.
Okay.
And I put quotes around the word argument because it's a soft thing, but I'll save it for the spiritual speculation portion.
Okay. I do want to point out, just going back real quick, Bob says, the sound Schwartz moms makes haunts me to this day.
Yeah.
Let's go to Dustin, and then we'll get into our tragic makers. What's one more thing you dislike?
All right. So I did have on my list the Santa and elves, so you're not alone, Francisco.
Okay,
you're just
good.
like for them. But I was actually surprised because it's been a while since I've watched this with the language in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Fudge.
Well,
that one clearly being censored out, but there was more profanity than I remembered, and it was enough for me to be like, I don't know if I want my youngest kid watching this one quite yet, just because it caught me off guard on a rewatch. Like, especially with a critique rewatch of hey, I'm going to be listening and watching all these things.
Absolutely.
It stood out more, and I thought the movie could have been just as good without it.
Yeah.
Especially with, the whole fudge comment, because that was perfect. I didn't say that. I said the whole word, but all the other words they did say. And even the dad at the end, when he's chasing off the dogs, he yells SOB. I'm like, wow, that one's just blatant. So
yeah,
I thought the movie could have been totally fine without it. Didn't need it.
Gotcha.
Puppuses!
For me, like, there's not a lot that I just epically hate about this movie, but I would say that there's just something about it that I don't genuinely connect with.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because
it's slow and boring.
I think maybe for me, I think it's that lack of, like, there's a lot of relatability. We've talked a lot about that. There are scenes that are funny, all the things, but there's a lack of, like, heart connection there. Like, I'm just looking for more of those heart moments in a Christmas film. To me, I just didn't get enough of that. Maybe it was I didn't see it as a younger kid, and
Maybe.
maybe you just need to see it when you're younger. I don't know,
Mhm.
but just not a heart connection there.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's why. Yeah.
So you hate Christmas. Okay. Just kidding.
Yeah, man. I do love Christmas, but there was just something about the movie that I just didn't jive with, and it's not one that I go to like every year, and I'm like, I have to watch.
What?
It, you know?
I'm like that with It's a Wonderful Life or A Wonderful Life.
What?
The name is.
All right, both of you. Out.
I disagree. I disagree with that.
That's fine. Wow. I'm just saying that's sort of my similar movie where I'm like, no, this isn't for me. Even though I've never seen it, but I know it's not for me.
It is long, but come on. Anyways,
It's a Wonderful Life is amazing.
It's a great movie.
It's wonderfully
Easy to
long.
fall asleep to, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Aaron,
it's a wonderful nap.
What do you wish?
Sometimes it is a wonderful nap.
What do you wish you could have napped through in this movie, but you had to watch it and it became your tragic maker?
I'm torn.
Okay.
Wow. I don't know where she's going with this.
Okay. I feel like sometimes the whininess of the kids in general, like the kids have a knack in this movie for hitting that like nasal whiny tone that just makes you go like, like it just makes you tense up.
Yes.
So I'll go with that as my tragic maker.
Okay. Yeah. They do capture it perfectly. Though, doesn't that make it more realistic?
I don't know.
Come
maybe.
on. You know it does. It does. Because our daughter.
It's tough because on the one,
I love my daughter, but she can get that tone.
Aurora, I'm ready for pancakes now.
Oh my gosh! On the one hand, it like totally contributes to the story, but there are definitely times though where I'm like, I'm not in the mood for this. Like, I can't handle that nasally tone right now. I feel like I'm more so with this movie, kind of have to be in the right headspace, I guess, for it. Like, if I'm already low-key annoyed, maybe I shouldn't watch it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Sometimes I just want my movies not to have that close reality because it's like I deal with that enough in my real life that I don't need it in my movies. But let's go next. Thank you, Aaron. Dustin, what is your tragic maker for this film?
All right, this is only a real quick scene in the movie.
Okay.
And it's not a major plot point. I don't, maybe, but it makes everything inside me cringe because I was raised with gun safety. When he sleeps with the BB gun in the end, it drives me insane. Every bit, both my dad and my stepdad, both gun safety, like it's been ingrained in our minds since we were 5 years old. And so at the end, when it zooms in and he has the gun on his bed, I know it's just a movie, but still I just go, no. And especially with the parents saying, you'll shoot Uriah, that being the whole theme of how dangerous this is. Yeah, go to sleep with the gun. Like that, there's
Maybe
no
it's not
way.
loaded.
Every gun is always loaded, Paul.
True.
Always.
I think it's also pointed at his brother when he's sleeping.
Right at his brother. Yes.
I'm trying to recall.
It's not sitting on the dresser up on the shelf. He's
Look,
holding it. Yeah, I hate it.
No,
I hate it.
I emptied my dart gun before I went to bed with this. I don't know. Safety is on.
I guess
They're not
there is
sleeping without a safety.
Do BB guns not have safeties? I've never had one. So I haven't.
Depends on the BB gun.
No, Red Ryder BB guns don't have safeties.
Okay. Boo.
Safeties weren't a thing in the 40s with
This is your safety.
Right.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, that leaves Paul.
What?
Oh, just Bobo was mentioning the audio is dipping out occasionally for anyone. I'm not noticing anything. I mean, I'll notice in the recording, but hopefully not, Baba. Just an incentive for you to listen to this on a 24-hour loop, like you said. Paul, what is your tragic maker? The thing you hate most about A Christmas Story from 1983?
It's what Dustin said earlier, the language. And it's kind of funny because as I sat down to watch this with my wife, I said, I jokingly said to my wife, one of my dislikes is going to be the language in this isn't what it should be. I mean, this movie's filled with a lot of language, and this hardly has any language compared to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. They set the bar so every Christmas movie has to have more and more. But maybe it's because I grew up, or the first few times I watched it was like the TV edit or something. But now that I own it, and especially with the subtitles on, you pick out a lot more, especially from the dad, of what is actually being said and referred to. And I think a lot of guys, sorry, I was reading the chat and where it says, "I'm sorry, guys," but you can edit that out if you want. But where was I going? Shoot.
The subtitles
for you
can read.
Language.
You can know what the dad says.
Really emphasizes this, and I agree. It's just as funny, or without it, they could have said other things, and it would have made it more quotable, and it would have been enjoyed by the whole family. And what a great opportunity to teach the young ones about gun safety.
But you can also teach young ones about what words not to say. So there's that too. No? All right, fine.
Nope.
I'm with you.
All right. Now, though, that we've entered all our trajectories into the firing computer, Alice, you have a firing solution for us.
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo armed and ready to fire on your mark.
Salvo authority.
Yes. All right. Do we rate A Christmas Story a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see this film, whether or not they've seen it before. I'm not going to rub some salvo on it, Bobo. Do we rate it a nostalgic? It's definitely worth rewatching if you remember watching it growing up. Maybe you caught it on the TBS marathon, whatever it is. You remember liking it. Yeah, go ahead and watch it out. Get it out of this Christmas season and watch it again. But if you've never seen it before, pass this one by. Go watch some other Christmas movie. Or do we rate it a tragic? It's not worth anyone's time watching it. If you've never seen it before, definitely keep it that way. Go watch Die Hard, maybe. And if you have seen it before, don't sully any good memories you have of it with a rewatch. So we'll start with our guests. Dustin, you had predicted classic. What is your final reign for A Christmas Story?
So what's funny is I predicted classic, and as I watched it, it's funny, right? After watching it, I thought maybe I'd go down to nostalgic after the rewatch, looking at it with a different view. But I think even after watching it and talking about it, I think I want to stick with classic. But it teeters the classic nostalgic line for me.
Absolutely.
So I could easily be convinced to change my vote should we have more conversation. But I think I'm going to stick with classic.
Moving on. Next.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Dustin. So classic for you. Aaron, you had predicted nostalgic. Did it stay nostalgic or move down or up for you?
Well, I predicted nostalgic because 3 years ago, I did these brackets with Christmas movies where people could vote on the best one. This one got knocked out in the first round.
Oh, wow. Geez.
We started with 32 movies.
What was it against, though?
The Santa Claus.
Well, that of course it's going to get knocked out against that.
Like, fantastic.
I was a little bit surprised.
Who put it up against the Santa Claus, Aaron?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, sounds like an inside job to me.
But honestly, I haven't seen this movie for a long time, and a lot of people were saying, they think the movie is annoying, and which, one of my tragic makers was the kids can be really annoying.
Yep.
But after rewatching it and talking with you guys, I think it's a classic.
Oh, wow,
I think it is worth at least. I think it's at least worth trying to watch if you've never seen it before, because it has a lot of the elements of a Christmas movie. You can relate to it. It's funny. It has kind of these sappy Christmas moments, and it's funny. So I think that it's a classic. I can see where people would be like, I can't stand that movie, maybe because the kids are that annoying to them. But I think if you've never seen it before, at least give it a shot.
All right. Very good. Classic for Aaron. Jake, you had predicted likewise nostalgic. Where did it end up for you?
So I like what Dustin said on how it was definitely nostalgic for me, but after watching it last night, I don't know, like I watched it in a different way, and I'm kind of on that teetering edge, like Dustin was saying, where it's like, I think it's classic. For me, well, let me say this. I think it's classic for like the regular person. For me, I view it as nostalgic. But for everyday people that are just watching, I think it's a classic movie because everybody knows it, everybody sees it. It's on TNT or wherever TBS or whatever.
Spike TV presents A Christmas Story.
Yeah, for 24 hours.
Bruce Willis.
We know drama.
But I think it is a tweener for me. I don't know. It's a hard thing. I think there's enough funny moments and relatability and stuff that it's classic. It's something that I'll watch every now and then. And the fact that it's set in the 40s, I think it's not really ever going to get like dated.
It's vintage.
It's vintage.
Yeah.
So
it's a period piece.
So I've heard classic and nostalgic. So which one is it going to be?
I'm going to go a little bit more classic.
Classic. Okay.
I'll go there a little bit.
Again, like it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah. I would say you definitely got to watch it.
All right. So 3 classics so far. Before we get to me and Paul's reigns, we get your guys's, the reflux capacitors, you all who support the podcast. You get to vote on these final reigns as well. We combine your votes. And together, you all rated A Christmas Story a classic as well. So we're 4 classics now.
Whoa.
It's going to be very hard for me and Paul to turn the tide here with our tragic, our ratings.
We're going to try to sink it as low as we can possibly make it.
No, but Paul, you had predicted classic, so maybe it won't sink too low. Where did it end up for you?
Yeah, I agree with everyone else that I recommend this. If you haven't seen this, I recommend that you see it. So that's classic.
Classic.
And I'm not teetering.
Okay. For me, I had predicted nostalgic, and I was actually really surprised at how much I just enjoyed watching this film. I imagine I experienced it because it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't know if I've seen it since becoming a parent, so I imagine there may be some elements of seeing it through that lens that I didn't experience before, and so I just appreciated it on a whole different level. Or it was just very fresh to me and very enjoyable. So, and I think it would be to a lot of people. So I'm going to rate it classic.
What?
So, according to the Retro Rewind podcast, it's been a while. We rate A Christmas Story a unanimous classic. We'd recommend anyone go see it, whether or not they've seen it before.
I did not expect that.
Indeed. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
Calm Saturn 9. Awaiting incoming transmissions.
Come back!
You can stop that any time, Paul.
That's the tone.
It's so bad.
Okay, it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's nostalgic.
It takes you backsies, tragic, total tragic right here. All right, but it feels good to be back. But we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1983 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, who also voted this classic, namely Deborah Powers, Geek Devotions, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Ruiz, Kennethan, Fabulous Lomax, That's Our Babo, D. Tungsten, Mr. Lost, Daryl Hafner, Cool Deluxe, Dustin, He's a Big Deal Warford. Oh, you're right here. Woohoo! Flux, redeemed otaku, in addition to 2 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to firejoystudios.com and subscribe at the $5 tier.
Ho, 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 ho! It looks like everything is ready for the big night, and it's a good thing my sleigh is sponsored by pauljpowers.com, just like this stream. Ho, 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 ho.
Wow.
Say, Francisco, are there any ways that people can support the show that doesn't require a little dip in their wallet this holiday season or any holiday season?
Actually, yeah, Paul, there are several ways. The newest is, like I just mentioned, you can subscribe for $5 or just subscribe for free to our new site, firejoystudios.com. There you can, if you subscribe, you can get updated on not only new podcast episodes, but when we do our monthly voting that we're going to start doing, instead of one list that's just sort of there, we're going to be doing monthly voting on the movies you want us to cover in the 4 different sort of seasons of Random Rewinds, Anime, Sci-Frights, and Wintermas. And also, there's also other updates. You can get updated on Junkyard Juggernauts from the same mailing list. But let's say you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. But you want to still tell us how much you like the podcast, or maybe you hate it. Maybe you hate this podcast so much. Tell us that too. You can leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choosing, like Podchaser, where we got a review from APR1186. Those initials sound familiar. She recently said, 5 stars. The Retro Rewind podcast is sure to become a classic for anyone looking to fuel their nostalgia for films and video games from 15 or more years ago. It quickly became a regular in my podcast rotation, since happily discovering it nearly 5 years ago. Francisco and Paul, along with their rotating guest hosts, do an excellent job with their commentary and reign of classic titles. I can't recommend this podcast enough.
Wow.
And finally, tried and true, one of the best ways you can help get the word out about the Retro Rewind podcast is tap the share icon in your podcast player that you're listening to us right now and send it to a friend saying, I know you like A Christmas Story or like Christmas movies, so I thought you would enjoy this podcast about it.
Cool. And I'll bet they'll thank you for it.
Oh, they will.
And speaking of thanking people, we want to give a big virtual Christmas hug to Dustin Warford, Aaron Wallace, and Jake Wallace for supporting us with their thoughts about A Christmas Story.
Indeed. Thank you, guys.
Since I like to go alphabetical order, we'll start with Aaron first. Yes. No, Dustin. Dang it. I missed it. I don't even know my ABC.
Wow. It's Aaron if you want to go that.
There we go. Actually, we're going to go around and if you could tell where people can find you online, if you want to be found. And if so, is there anything cool you got going on that they should know about? So, Dustin, where can people find you online?
I am online. I got Facebook. I have an Instagram. I am at Ghetto Kids Preacher. Made that back when I was a children's pastor. And you can also find me at ccpuyallup.com, the church I pastor's website, and you can see all the sermons we do up there and see how we're reaching out to the community and being plugged in all online there.
Cool. And next is Aaron. What you got going on?
I am in my 2nd year teaching, so that's been awesome. And you can find me online on Instagram or on Be Real as at eMoneyDub. And I'm also on Facebook.
Cool. And should people follow for more bracketed voting?
Yes.
It has been a while since we've had a vote.
It's hard for me to do them now because of my teaching schedule. It might
Stop
end up
whining. Stop whining.
It might end up being more of a summer thing, but I would love to do more brackets. Yes.
Awesome. You lack discipline.
No, thank you. I totally understand that. And Jake, if you want to be found online, how would people do that?
I'm not online that much, but you could follow me at JDub137 on Instagram. And yeah, if you're Dustin mentioned his church, I'm going to mention mine. Christmas Eve is right around the corner. We're talking about a Christmas movie. If you're looking at a place to attend, I encourage you to check out Table Church in Hillsborough. We're going to be at the Venetian on Christmas Eve.
Oh, you're going to be in Vegas? Wow, that's amazing.
But yeah, I encourage you to check that out. But yeah, not too much going on. Just hanging out.
He'll be playing guitar that night.
Nice.
Woo!
By the way,
I miss listening to you play guitar, dude. I miss it.
Oh.
Well, just come here for Christmas Eve.
Exactly.
Oh, sure. I'll just abandon our Christmas Eve service.
Yeah.
No problem.
And just for those that are curious, there's a Venetian in Hillsborough, Oregon, where our church is not the Venetian in Las Vegas.
Not the Venetian. Yeah.
I did not make that connection. Whoa.
Really?
I'm just
I
kidding.
didn't
Oh my gosh. You guys are funny. But you're so funny, and it's been so fun having you all on. Thank you so much again, Dustin, Aaron, and Jake, and my awesome Christmas-loving friend Paul and all your rewinders, I should say, for another fun voyage. Also,
And speaking of websites, I am pauljpowers.com. You can find me. No, wait, that's not right.
I put it in the notes.
No, that is right.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of websites, I am pauljpowers.com. You can find me and all my links to social media, what I've got going on at pauljpowers.com.
And you can find me on our Discord for show announcements or just to say hi. And I'm going to have to figure out a link for that. So until then, check out firejoystudios.com. Man. Okay. End of mode. I'm getting it. But
you were so close.
I know.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box, a curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
And as the narrator of our Christmas podcast just said, we are now part of Culture Box Media Network. Find all the shows unpacking truth through story, comedy, and geekery at culturebox.media.
Thank you, EXO, and thank you for listening. We pray you are more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you in 2025 for our next
2025
for our next adventure of the Retro Rewind podcast. Happy Wintermas and Christmas, everyone, one and all. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to base to await next mission.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
And then you stay down in the cotton. There's other kids coming, you know. You're going to get hit in the head again.
Yep.
All right. End of show. Thank you, everyone. We're going to be recording our spiritual speculation here in a moment. Off stream. What?
I thought you froze on my screen. Maybe it was just me.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. But thank you so much to Bobo. Zabe, I know you left already. Ashley, Ken. Let's see. Anyone else that I am missing? Probably, because I'm always missing people. But thank you, everyone who stopped in, said hi, was part of the show. Really appreciate you all. And yeah, we're going to go and talk about contentment and some other spiritual themes in the spiritual speculation. But expect this episode to drop probably Christmas Day, so you can enjoy if you're traveling anywhere. If you're like Dustin and are traveling back from a Christmas Eve service here in Oregon back to his church, so then he could listen to this podcast of himself again. Yeah, because that sounds fun. Anyways, thank you all so much. Have a awesome Christmas season, and we'll talk to you later. And here is your stream face.